Welcome to Biology, the chapter Circulation. Today we're going to do paragraph 8, part 2, which is hopefully a little more easy. We're talking about types of immunity. So, in immunity we have natural, and opposite of natural is artificial immunity, and we have active and passive immunity. Sad part for you guys is we can combine these, but no worries, don't make it too difficult for yourself. So in the previous part of this paragraph, we talked about how a pathogen entered your body and how you fought it off with your phagocytes and how you defeated the pathogen. This is what we call natural active immunity. Natural because it happens naturally, you didn't do anything weird about it. Active because your body's working hard, and immunity because, hey, you conquered it, and if you did it well, you left a memory cell immunity. So this is the most standard, most regular way, natural active immunity. But let's go to the opposite now, artificial active immunity. So rather than the pathogen coming to us in a natural way, it comes to us in an artificial way. This happens, for example, with a syringe. We get an injection. It's not for fun. You don't inject yourself for fun with a pathogen. They inject you with a weakened pathogen. Often, it's a weaker strain, or they chop it up in parts, so you can fight it off more easily, and it doesn't reproduce that quickly, etc. It's a weak pathogen, so you can fight it off easily. We call this a vaccination, a vaccine. You can imagine why we would do this. So in case we get hit by the real thing, the real strong thing, that we can fight it off more easily, more quickly. So this is, rather than the pathogen coming to us naturally, it came to us in the form of a syringe, an injection, or a pill. So it's artificial. It's still active because our body still has to fight off the pathogen. So artificial because it came in a syringe. In this case, a memory cell was also made. Just like natural active immunity, we also made a memory cell. I'm coming back to this part because it's important, the memory cell. So let's go to the others. Now we had both active immunities, the natural and the artificial ones. Let's go to the passive immunities. The first one we're making artificial. So opposite of active, our body doing something, we go to passive immunity, which means our body won't do anything about the pathogen. And how this works is we inject, well, in this case artificial, we inject or we take in a pill antibodies. So in case we get hit by a disease, the antibodies are present and they can fight off the pathogen. So our body didn't do anything. We had the antibodies, thank you syringe, or thank you injection, or thank you pill. A natural way how we get passive immunity, you might think, how in God's name do we get antibodies naturally, is thanks to mom. In breastfeeding, breast milk contains antibodies. It passes through the milk. Often you hear people saying, oh, you should breastfeed rather than giving the child formula because it has all these healthy things. These healthy things are not just nutrients, they are talking about antibodies. So if mom is sick and she has antibodies in her body, baby will get the antibodies. If mom doesn't have the disease or doesn't have the antibodies, baby probably won't get those antibodies. But there are always some antibodies. Oh, let's go back. Nope, stop. I'm going back because, so passive, our body didn't do anything. But imagine, was a memory cell made in this case? So what if the antibodies leave our body and we get hit by the same disease again? Think about that. So now the 4 types of immunity are natural active, so getting sick and fighting off the disease. Artificial active, so we inject ourselves with a pathogen and we fight it off. Our body is active. Artificial passive, so we get the antibodies, but we don't get it naturally. We get it again in the form of an injection or antibiotics or other kind of pill. And finally, natural passive. Mummy gave us antibodies. Hooray! So, if you find this hard to remember, just try to remember one, natural active. And then, as you're sitting there for the test, just think, what's the opposite of natural? That's artificial. What's the opposite of active? That is passive. And this way, just combine both of them, making 4 combinations. And then it's up to you to find yourself a nice example. Because what I expect you to know after this information, as the title says, how long are you immune? I don't expect you to tell me that's going to be 2 months, that's going to be 3 months, that's going to be 4 years. No. I do want you to know that that the passive immunities are a lot shorter than the actives, because they don't have a memory cell. And also, let's focus on that. The actives are longer than the passives because of the memory cell. And you have to be able to give me examples of all 4. So just as I mentioned before, breast milk, or getting antibodies in a pill, or getting a vaccination, so a pathogen in a flu shot, or in a, excuse me, my throat is still not good, still not behaving very well. Getting the pathogen in an injection, or just getting plain old sick. Those 4 examples. Finally, disadvantages, but also the advantages of each type of immunity. Why, even though artificial passive is really short, why would we take this kind of immunity? Why would we want this? Why is it good for baby to get mother's immunity? Imagine the results if baby did not get this immunity and mommy sneezed on the baby. Poor baby is so weak. This is how I want you to start thinking of what the advantages are and what the disadvantages are of each type of immunity. Natural active sounds the best of all, right? But we still have to get sick for it first. I wouldn't say that sounds that great. Well, these are the types of immunity, and the last slides are the kind of information I expect you to know about the types of immunity. If you have questions, please do ask. If not, I'll see you in the next video.